Oh my God, I'm gonna go bankrupt.
How much did you make? I made like 200. Great. So I'm sitting in a jail cell at Disney World.
Many people never come back from it. Welcome to Value Add Podcast. We're honored to present Corey Wright, the generational wealth guy. Corey is an amazing entrepreneur. He's done really, really well in the residential market. I'm trying to get him into commercial real estate, value add deals. Corey, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure. Love seeing your growth. And yes, I'm trying to get into that commercial game and get out the residential.
Awesome.
So one of the reasons I'm here. Thank you.
If I am broke, if I live paycheck to paycheck or don't have enough money to pay rent, what is the first thing I need to do to get in front of Corey and get him to believe in me and whatever?
Man, the first thing you got to do is forget getting around just me. You got to do something called quartile your relationships. You got to look at everyone you're around and break them down into 4 quarters.
4 quarters, got it.
4 quarters. That top quarter is the people that's your family, your friends, people that are adding value to you.
Nice.
And you want to focus on those. And progressively, as those quartiles go down, you eventually get to the 4th quartile, which is people that are taken away from you. People that don't believe in your dreams.
So there's people on top that are giving you, and there's people who are taken away from you.
Correct.
And what are the 2 quarters in the middle?
The 2 quarters in the middle are like a coworker. Someone who's like, hey, you have to work with them or you are working with them. They're not necessarily, you're not doing Thanksgiving with them, right? So they're not necessarily adding a ton of value, but they're not taking away.
Yeah. They're just kind of in the middle of the.
They're just kind of in the middle, right? Yeah. You know, childhood friend that you see every once in a while, you know, family member that's distant, but you know, you're cool with them. But
so if you focus on bringing people into your life that care about you and add value to you, and there's more of those people, then you ultimately elevate. That's
correct.
Beautiful.
And you keep them at the top, and that's where you focus. Awesome. That's where you put all your time.
So you always want to dissect who you're dealing with.
The full circle moment is that bottom quartile, which tends to be your biggest.
They bring you down.
They bring you down. So what you have to do with them is you have to cut them off.
Yeah.
Whether that's family, friends, you know, business partners, people that are taking you down, tearing you down, not uplifting you, not trying to help you with your dreams. You got to take them out. You got to say, look.
Has that happened to you?
That's how I got to where I'm at. So I ended up cutting everybody off because my circle was terrible. So instead of focusing on the education, I wasn't aware of the educational tools that were out there. But I had enough common sense to say, hey, the circle I'm around is causing death, destruction, poverty, depression. I'm not making money. I'm in the streets chasing the wrong thing. So no, it came down to fixing your circle first.
Yeah.
And if that means you get down to nobody but yourself and you got to look in the mirror and say, yo, bro, it's all on me. The decisions you make forward and the connections you make forward will determine your success.
I've done research on that, by the way, with my TED Talk. Robin Dunbar wrote a book on it called Friends. Yeah. It's called Friends. So essentially we have circles. We have power circles of 5, 15, and 50. 5 people you spend 40% of your airtime with. Like airtime is your interaction, talking to them and texting or whatever, spending time. There's 5 people in your life on average. This is not, there's a deviation. Some people have 7, 10, but for the most part, on average, every person has 5 people they spend 40% of their airtime with. Can you think about the impact these 5 people will have?
That's your whole life right there.
When I invited my mentor into my top 5s, my life changed dramatically. I made $1 million on a deal in literally 18 months after I met him. Now, nobody in my 5 circle believed that $1 million is a possibility. But when you have a person in your life who believes that you can make $1 million per deal, everything changes.
And see, that goes back to that relationship that we're talking about. So that person you brought the relationship in, and then in return, the education came with it by being around them.
The 15 is a support circle and 50. But turns out, you only have about 150 people you can interact with and have a relationship with.
Yeah, it is.
After that, there's just not enough airtime for you to interact. And so I challenge everybody on my team and everybody who I coach to look at their circle, 150 people, take a count, look at their phone and emails, whatever, who you're talking to every day, because that's your life. Your life is defined. You live in a city of 4 million people, but your life is defined by the 150 people that you interact with, but more importantly, by 50, 15, and the 5. And so if you bring people into your life that are super powerful, right? Super successful, whatever, automatically it will have impact on you over time. Yeah.
And that's why it's so valuable to say, if you have that 5, let's say in that 5, you have someone that's constantly tearing you down, doesn't believe in your dreams, doesn't uplift you. You're constantly trying to pour into them. You know, you're making deposits into their bank account and they're just doing withdrawals. That's why I'm saying you got to get them out, because then you're never going to grow. You're never going to expand.
That's a very good advice.
And that's not just money. That's life right
there.
So
for those of you who are watching this, make an account of people in your life and look at the people at the bottom quadrant. Who is taking you down? Who is giving you those limiting beliefs? Because that right there is where you can actually unchain yourself from limiting beliefs and a scarcity mindset.
Yes, and get into that abundance mindset. There's more than enough out here for everybody.
Exactly. I love that. I love that. You see, one of the things that I hear from my friends from various cultures is that they think that their culture is holding them back. Here's what they say. Oh, it's because I'm an immigrant, I don't get the opportunities. It's because I'm black, I don't have opportunities. It's because I'm a woman, they look at me differently.
I'm old,
I'm young. And so can you tell us about that? How do you feel about that?
Man, that's all a bunch of BS. And I say that respectfully. That's all a bunch of BS. But the reality is it doesn't matter any of those. Young, old, cultural, Asian, black. At the end of the day, there's one thing that drives everything. So you can say, hey, I'm an immigrant and I'm behind the 8 ball. Or I'm black and I can't get home ownership or get money. The reality is, if you become a bankable asset where you can find deals, you show someone how to make money or you show someone how to save money. All that stuff we just talked about goes out the window.
What's a bankable asset in your mind?
Like I just said, show someone how to make money or show someone how to save money. So if you, for instance, if you're like, hey, I can't get financing from a bank. I can't get financing from anywhere. I'm broke, but I want to get into investing. And your mindset might be, I'm behind the 8 ball because I don't have no money. And no one's giving me an opportunity. So that's your mindset. That's the poor, broke mindset of I can't get because of my circumstances.
So how do you change that mindset?
So something like that, one is that's a broke mentality. We got to get out of that. We got to live in an abundance mindset, not the broke mentality.
How can I be in abundance mindset when I don't have money to pay rent? Tell me.
We're about to get there. We're about to get there. So one, it's your circle and your environment.
So
even though maybe your circumstances put you where you're at, you can change your circle. You can change your family. You can't change being born into your family and your circumstances, but you can choose to get out of that and to get around people that are doing something at a high level, right? And going back to the money tip, if you have the fear, Corey, man, I'm renting, I got no money, I'm black, I'm Asian, I'm whatever it is, I can't get ahead. Man, the easiest thing to find in investing, in real estate, in commercial is the money. The hardest thing to find is the asset that makes money. So if you can go out and be really good at finding an asset, you can find people like yourself, like myself, that'll come along and say, I don't care what you look like. I don't care your background. I don't care if you're 70 or 17. You find me a deal that makes money, I'm going to come partner with you and make it work.
So was there an event or a person in your story, in your life, who basically lit you up and got fire started?
Man, I've had so many events, so many multiple times where it was like something popped off, but a couple events. One, Disney World. I've shared this story a couple of times, but Disney World was a big moment in my life. We were on vacation in Disney World with 2 of the people that we talked about was in my bottom quadrant that weren't good for me, and they're no longer on this earth. But that's who I was with, and I got into trouble. I got stealing. So we're on family vacation at Disney World, happiest place on earth, right? And I got caught stealing and got arrested. And I didn't realize Disney had their own police force, all that. So anyways, really bad situation. So I'm sitting in a jail cell at Disney World. I think I'm like 15 years old, maybe. And I'm like, what is going on with you, dude? Like, Mickey Mouse is outside. Donald Duck is outside.
It's supposed to have fun.
This is supposed to be like the happiest place on earth. And dude, you about to go to jail. Like what, and with your family, like what is going on here? So that was my first moment where I'm like, it planted a seed that, Corey, if you keep going down this path, there is nothing but death, destruction, jail. Like this is not for you. So that was the first seed that was planted. So to try and get away from some of that drama that I was getting into, I got into construction.
All right.
And we had a family friend that was running a drywall business. And that was my first real mentor. His name was Andre Clark. And he took me under his wing, and I was the wild dude that he had to reel in and be like, let's give you some manual labor. So I started doing drywall with him. And
This is you being 15, 16 years old.
15, 16 years old. So over the summers, instead of just being on my own, he's like, bro, come work with me. So I was just putting in manual labor. And I was the kid that in school, man, I was the one that we didn't have gum in school. You couldn't have gum.
Yeah.
So I would bring gum and sell it because I would create a market. I was always entrepreneur, always curious. How are people doing things?
Yeah.
And so when we were on these job sites, I would just go talk to the tile guy. I would go talk to the floor guy. And I'd be like, how do you do the tile? And I would learn the tile. I would learn everything
Nice.
there is.
So you've expanded your area of expertise.
So then I was able to do everything on the house from learning from all these guys on the job site. But full circle moment is when the owners started coming around.
Yeah.
And I would chop it up with these owners and be like, well, what are you doing with this? Even though my mom was in real estate, I didn't quite understand the full potential of real estate. And these dudes would come in and be like, oh, I'm just fixing it up to rent it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, why would you do that? Then he would tell me about the benefits of that. Or some guys would be like, oh, we're just flipping it.
So one of the things I noticed, and by the way, for you guys watching, very, very important. You want to succeed in life. You want to achieve exponential growth mindset. You're doing something every day, hanging sheetrock.
Yep.
Talking to the tile guy, expanding your knowledge, talking to the electrician, talking to the plumber, and learning. I've noticed that it exists with most of my super successful friends. The curiosity and desire to become a better person, more knowledgeable is so key. And that's why you're making millions of dollars, because of the growth mindset. So please watch, learn, and have growth mindset in your life, because that's how you get to high levels of income and potential.
100% agree. That's dynamite, man. So to wrap that one up real quick, but once I started talking to these owners, I started doing the math. Like, well, I know what it costs now to do all these things.
Right.
Hey, what'd you pay for it? Oh, I paid 150. And I'd be like, okay, well, we got like 40, 60,000 in it. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm selling it for, 450.
So you're working with flippers.
With flippers, rents. I didn't know it at the time, but curiosity, what you just said, growth mindset, is I realized real quick that half of the stuff we were doing sheetrock for was for investors.
Yeah, nice.
Then
Beautiful.
full circle, my mom was in real estate and I had been learning that, just the concepts of it, and just simple math. I started putting all the stuff together.
Brilliant.
He
Brilliant,
paid
yeah.
150. We got 60 into it. You can sell it for 450. The real estate costs.
Done.
And I'd be like, bro, you're making like 75,000.
And here I am, helping my,
and I'm making my
$20 $20 an hour.
Yeah, whatever it is. And that seed right there grew. And I never let go of that. And that's where we're at.
So
today.
now, a 15-year-old, 16-year-old Corey doing sheetrock, learning a lot about construction. Many of our viewers are probably in that realm, doing something. When was your first deal and how did you get it done? Where'd you get the money? How did you find the deal? And tell us about that.
So we're going to have to do a two-part on this.
All right, two-part. All right, 2 deals.
Because it was 2 different eras. This was the era before the foreclosure crisis.
2009.
So my first deal, I was 20 years old, got my license, jumped headfirst into real estate. I'm going to be the next big thing, right? And I was. But the reality is back then you could buy a house for $500. And you could do stated loans where it's like, hey, how much did you make? I made like 200. Great.
Stated income, stated asset loans.
Here's a loan.
I see. So you bought some properties.
So my first deal was I was 20 years old and I bought a rental, and before I was like 22, I had like 7 houses.
7 houses. So you bought 7 houses in 2 years.
Yep.
Now, here's one thing, again, for the viewers. The second category of people that I met that are super successful is they take massive action. They don't just, do 1 or 2. They're like, go. 7 houses in 2 years.
We're in it.
Love it. Amazing. So tell us more. You bought the first house, rented it out.
Yep.
Cash flow.
Yep.
Right? And then you got, bang, you're making $500, $600.
And I was buying houses, fixing them up, and renting them.
So where do you get the money for down payment? On the first one, you can do 0 down.
Well, so back then, it was a different game.
100%, 80-20.
I could do 100% financing. I could have the seller do down payment costs. I could have the seller do closing costs. So it was kind of a shell game, to be honest with you.
Nice.
But I didn't realize it, but that's where the education. I was doing this on my own. I didn't have a community. I didn't have a coach. I didn't have a mentor. I'm just basically winging it. The worst thing you can do is to learn by trial and fire, in my opinion.
Okay.
So instead of having someone say, Corey,
Do it
if
this
you
way,
go
that way.
left, this is what's going to happen. And I'm just like, I don't know. I think I'm going to go right straight.
I think I know where it's going now.
Yeah,
Because I remember your
So I was balling. I was living good. I thought I was doing it. I thought I was on to something, but I had built everything on a house of cards. There was no substance at all. So when the foreclosure crisis happened, within a matter of 6 months, it was all over. No one's paying their rent. foreclosure crisis. That was my only income.
So effectively, you lost these properties
Yes.
into foreclosures,
Yes.
and it caused you. Oh, nice.
Yep. So then we're at
Unfortunately.
the tax debt, foreclosure, bankruptcy. We hit all that.
Oh my.
Yep.
Many people never come back from it.
Yes.
I know a lot of people who have gone through it. I personally have gone through the similar situation.
Yep.
I had 25 houses.
Yep.
I was homeless. My ex-wife left me. It was a messy situation. But so how did you pick yourself up? You have bad credit now, Corey.
It's done.
You are bankrupt, everything.
500 credit. Yeah.
What do you do? Like, how do you go back and do it?
Yep. So
Did you get a job or?
So one thing is going back to your circle. By then, my circle was gone. I had already started cutting people off, so I was kind of down to just me. And I knew up here, I had it. I was like, you know what? Up here is motivating. Up here has it. You just made a ton of mistakes. You didn't do it right. You didn't have the right circle, but you were on the right path. You just had a bump in the road.
Nice.
So I was like, you know what? I can get back there. But again, I had no credit. So what I was always dope at, always, was sales.
You're a really good sales guy.
I'm a really good sales guy. So at the time, I had a girlfriend that had moved to Chicago to finish her nursing degree. So I moved to Chicago. I didn't know a single person.
This is 2008-9?
This is 2007.
7.
Yeah. So I moved to Chicago, and I don't know anybody. I have never lived there. And I'm not talking about suburbs of Chicago. I'm talking Wrigleyville, Lincoln Park, right in
nice
the heart of it. And I started for a company called Chicago Apartment Finders. And it was a same-day rental service. You come into town, hey, I want a 3-bed because we're going to college for $3,000. I take them out, rent them a spot, and we get a percentage of that.
Nice.
Within 30 days, I was the #1 sales rep at that company.
Awesome.
And I was in the top 5 the whole time I was there.
In spite of the fact that you have all this garbage, foreclosure, people chasing you around, you still had the fortitude, positive attitude to go and freaking kill it.
100%. There was what's other choice? Death, destruction.
So now that is actually another one of those qualities that the winners have. It's no matter if it's rain or snow, you get up, positive attitude, you go conquer the world and add value.
Yep.
Right?
Add value.
Add value.
Yeah, that's
you
your
find
main
tenants,
swag.
whatever,
Add value. I mean, because at the end of the day, what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
Just mope around, get in your hole and be like, all right, life is over.
Yeah, commit
It's like,
suicide.
man, I'm like, man, I'm 24, 25.
Let's go.
I'm just beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sucked at that part of my life, but that's not going to define me.
Doesn't define you. Yeah.
Most people let a failure become their whole life. For me, at that moment, it was my life. But then I'm like, this is just going to become a chapter. And pretty soon, it's just going to be a sentence.
Whatever you focus on consumes you.
Yep.
Happens to me. I have a lot of properties, and then some of them start losing money. And I consume myself with it. And I feel like my whole world is falling apart. Even though my whole portfolio over here is doing great, I'm like consumed by this
deal right here.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to go bankrupt. Dude, I snap out of it so quickly. And it's an internal game. It's a conversation of, hey, dude, everything's going to be fine. Just go out there and add value to somebody. Make somebody else's life better.
And then your life will get better.
Yeah. So awesome.
100%.
You came back from Chicago, clean up your credit, and start buying properties here again.
Yep. So that's why I said a part 2. So 2010, so I'm in Chicago for 4 years. I'm the man now. I'm the top sales rep. I'm making money. I'm trying to build my finances back, but it's still tough.
Yeah.
Right? It's still very challenging, but I'm making money. And one thing I got to say is what really humbled me in that is during that time of about 7 to 8 years, I had to live on just cash.
There's no credit.
There's no credit. So literally going to get something to eat. If I didn't have the cash, and ain't have buying a car, my rent, everything in my life was cash. So I had to really strategically be like, yo, if I have $1,000 this month, that is it.
That's what I have.
That's what I got. And then the taxes, Uncle Sam was taking
money, so you can put it in the bank.
So I could put it in the bank. So I'm anyways, that's a whole nother thing. I'd put $1,000 in there, and I'm like, bro, I got to get this out within 24 hours because I'd come back sometimes and my bank account would be zero.
Shit. Because Uncle Sam's like taking money every day.
So anyways, so my wife, bless her heart, she's the reason I'm here, but she's like, yo, we're going to get married. And she's like, hey, I want to go back to Minnesota. And I'm like, but wait a minute. I failed in Minnesota.
I don't want to go back.
Came out here. I'm established. I'm about to just take off. And I chose the wife and I chose love. So I went back to Minnesota again. No college degree, no business, no job. Nothing, no job, no nothing. This is 2010 and started all over again.
But used your same hustle and everything.
So by then, though, I had proven to myself me personally that, yes, Corey, you failed once, but you can rise again. And so I was like, you know what? I am determined now to do it the right way. Not my way, but I'm going to try and do it the right way.
Here's another one thing that separates the winners from everybody else is their commitment to keep grinding, keep going, regardless of the situation. So dealing with failure in two ways. One way, oh, I failed. I'm not good enough. I'm never going to try again. Versus, hey,
quit.
I'm just going to keep going. And then every single failure is a stepping stone on your elevator or on your, stair up to your success. It's my story been like this, but I'm so interesting to hear that coming from you. Yeah. Corey, I've been watching you, and obviously in Minnesota, you're doing a lot of moves. You created this community of people you want to coach. Your company is called Generational Wealth because you want to sort of convey that generational wealth mindset to people so they build something of legacy. Tell us about that.
So quick correction, Legacy Wealth Group.
Oh, Legacy Wealth Group. So sorry, Generational Wealth. So Legacy Wealth Group.
Part of it is legacy is the biggest word in there because we're trying to create a legacy. That's right, we were just talking about it off camera with the Rockefellers and the Vanderbilts. They both have legacy. One a little bit worse than the other. But that's legacy. So it's really the first part is legacy.
Legacy, got it.
Then it's, wealth, and then we're a community, a group, because we can't do it ourselves.
Right. Awesome.
So Legacy Wealth Group, that's the name of it.
Legacy Wealth Group. And how many students are you working with right now?
So we are right at about 270 students right now.
Awesome. And you are coaching them on a regular basis, or do you have classes that you do?
Yep. So we do classes, we do in-person events, and then we do one-on-one coaching. So kind of all the above.
Beautiful.
And one of my approaches is to do events on site at properties.
Beautiful.
Instead of just the talking head. We have that, like what we're doing right now. Hey, we talking heads, right? But there's nothing like showing somebody on site the real world. This is how we do it.
And you will be able to change people's lives because you open their eyes to the possibility.
Yes.
So Corey, Legacy Wealth Group, that's your company, that's your coaching. Tell us about, what do you do today?
Yes. So Legacy Wealth Group, I had that idea for many years. So people see where I'm at now today. They see us on social media and they're like, great. But the reality is I've been doing what I do within Legacy Wealth Group this whole time.
Which is flipping houses.
Bigger than that. Flipping houses, but the coaching, the mentoring, the connectors, like doing all that behind the scenes. But nowadays, if you're not on the gram, it doesn't count. It's like, well, if you can't see it, it don't count, even though I've been doing this the whole time.
My question for you, before you started coaching people, tell us about your size, because you made some $700,000 profits on a deal. So you do some big, like multi-million-dollar flips.
Yep. So it's essentially flips. My whole thing started off as flips where I needed capital because I had no money, I had no credit, I had no job. So the flips was the way to get capital, and it started off to do more flips.
So you buy a house, fix it up, and sell it.
Buy a house, fix it up, and sell it. And back then, when I first started, was a lot of ramblers, like smaller 3-bed, 1-bath, right? And I did all the work, and my crew was me and my buddies, and blah, 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 right? And just over time, you do more and more, and then you scale. But I quickly realized, well, man, I ain't gonna get wealthy doing all these flips.
Small flips,
It's so active. So you have to scale, you have to get bigger, and you got to get passive income. So then I started doing 3, 4 at a time. Then I started doing 10, 15 a year. Then I started buying duplexes. Then I did bigger 2-stories, then bought 4 units and just kept scaling.
Let's talk about today and the future for a little.
Yeah.
What's most exciting to you about real estate today?
I mean, just the possibilities. The more I get exposed to more deals, like you were talking about commercial, there's just unlimited possibilities within real estate. And once you have some knowledge and you have some connections and all that, it makes going after these deals a lot easier because you can partner with people and you just have more options. So for me, just the sky's the limit for what I can get into.
Nice.
For the level that I've finally achieved, I'm still at a small level. But for the general public, it's like, man, Corey, you're at this huge level. Good for you. And like on some days, you're like, this kind of is cool. But then most days I'm like, but I'm still so small in the grand scheme of what real estate and investing is.
I feel small, believe it or not. It's like no matter where you are, you can always look like Blackstone.
Yeah, you told me not too long ago, like I remember it was like a couple months ago, you were like elevator. You're like, Corey, man, you're on like level like 4 of the elevator. And all these people down in the lobby can't wait to get up to level 4. And good for you. And you're like, man, I'm on level like 9, close to the penthouse. But bro, these dudes are up in the 40s and 50s on the
Yeah,
elevator.
there's, and by the way, you determine the elevator because you can exit it and say, like, I'm done. I'm just going to stay here.
Yep.
What's your portfolio like right now?
Well, so today, my main hustle is I do the luxury flips.
Flips.
So I do the luxury multi-million-dollar flips, where a typical buy box is anywhere from 600 to say $1 million to, and my sales points are $1.5 million to 2.8.
And do you build new houses too?
I haven't, but I have 2 that I'm working on right now on Lake Minnetonka that are coming. So they'll be my first official new builds that it's just on me.
Lake Minnetonka, by the way, in Minneapolis, is the premier lake. All of the most successful people live on there because real estate starts at like $3 million.
Yeah, there is in our market for Minnesota, as you know,
it's the highest.
You out there. There is no class,
Yeah.
I guess, above for residential. There is no class above Lake
being
Minnetonka.
on the water, Minnetonka. Yeah. So right now, you flip about 10 to 15 large luxury homes a year.
No. So now I scaled that way down because it takes so much more time. I do 2 to 3.
2 to 3 big ones.
I try and have one in the pipeline, one that's going, and then one that's hitting the market. So then
nice.
I consistently basically have 2 going.
And your margin is about $500,000, 700. What do you look for?
250 to 500
is what you look
typically
nice.
The margin on those.
Awesome. And then as far as like a cash flowing portfolio, passive income, do you have anything like that, or you're not?
Yes.
Really?
So I have apartment buildings, all 6 units. They've been up and down these last couple of years. That's been, but all multifamily. So I have several multifamily, and now I'm under contract for my first real commercial building.
Nice. Congratulations. Yeah. That's
Thank you,
awesome.
sir.
You were buying your first commercial property.
Yep.
Exciting stuff.
Yep.
And tell us more about that.
Getting around really smart people
Thank you.
that are helping me to open my eyes to other possibilities like commercial. So I just have been like really like, hey, I want to get into this space. But for starters, for me personally in my business, I need a hub. I need a headquarters.
Yep.
So the first one is a headquarters. So it's multifaceted where it's a cash flowing property right now.
And then you move into it.
It's a value add, but I'm going to be able to move into it. And what I'm able to fix up on it and bring in that value is going to be immensely for that building and for my business.
Beautiful. So you're under contract to buy the building.
I'm under contract
in
to buy the building.
St. Louis Park.
Minnetonka.
Minnetonka.
Yep. So in full circle, I'm taking one of my luxury flips and taking that $500K, $300K win
to
that's how I'm getting
parlay into that. Did you do 1031 exchange then?
Can't do 1031 on a flip.
Because of, yeah. Looking ahead, what is your 5-year plan, hope, goal? If all stars align,
I'll probably still be living in the same crib.
Okay.
It'll be paid off unless some really dope Lake Minnetonka property comes up, but I'll probably be in the same house. I'll be known as having the largest investment community in the Twin Cities.
Beautiful.
I'll be a national brand where I'm doing national speaking. I'll have coached hundreds, if not thousands of people to financial freedom.
Nice.
And Legacy Wealth Group will be easily a 7-figure company.
Nice. So legacy, you're focusing all of your attention on giving back. So that's what you're focused. So you can flip and make $500,000 a flip, and it's not a lot of time. Why shift your focus from your real estate game into coaching?
Well, 2 parts. One is I truly have a heart for helping other people. Just because of the journey I had to go through and the sacrifice and how hard it was, there's a blueprint out here.
Yeah.
There's a playbook out here. And a lot of people complain about the playbook instead of embracing the playbook, adapting and saying, Coach, put me in, I'm ready. I read the playbook. So I'm trying to give other people the playbook.
Opportunity, right?
Opportunity, all that to say, hey, look, we can enrich our own cultures. We talked about it in the beginning, but I don't care where you came from, culture, all of that. Skip all that. Here's the blueprint. Let's enrich your family. So when I leave this planet, there'll be, without a shadow of a doubt, that I left a mark on here, hence legacy.
I love
that people
yeah.
say, hey, if I came in contact with Corey, this is exactly what he did for me. And on that journey, right, you can monetize that. So you can be a win for others, you can be a win for their families, and also be a win for myself.
Totally. No, I love that. So one of the things that I want to say, another very important thing about very successful people is that they tie their success to the successes of others.
Yes.
I call it contribution. Like you want to contribute to the lives of others in a significant way. And what you want for others, you get 10x. It's like, you call it karma, you got divine providence or whatever. So I can totally know that, tell you that if, and I can tell from everything that you do is from your heart. You don't do it because there's a lot of slimy guys that are just trying to
Yeah.
get a lot of money and
Yeah,
they've never
yeah,
done any
yeah.
deals. But you are a true maverick. You definitely are doing really, really well yourself, and you want to share that with you. So for that, I commend you. And so contribution is one of the other facets of very successful people. So I'm very, very glad that I've first of all met you when we got together and stuff. But I also want to find a way to add value to you and up your game.
100%.
Because
100%.
with what I'm sort of in a similar situation, I've built a massive portfolio. I've been working with a lot of my junior partners.
Yep.
One thing that I have realized, and this is a little advice to you.
Yeah.
I find these really, really successful people outside of real estate that want to get into real estate, and I coach them. And then we partner on deals.
Yep.
So I'm basically replicating myself in every state, and all of these guys will basically run these deals under my supervision and my oversight.
Yep.
I will basically shortcut their progress and into building a wealth, into building financial freedom. But they will basically give me the opportunity to do a lot of things remotely.
Yeah.
So I have friends in Chicago, in Cleveland, in Detroit, in Wisconsin, and Milwaukee that are running deals, like in Decatur, Illinois, running deals in St. Louis, where I provided the capital, I provided the credit, I provided the advice and mentorship, and it's been
the blueprint.
It's like it's basically 5x'd my personal output because now, and it's all meaningful relationships too. There's no, I don't want anybody to be using me, or I don't want to use them. I want us to be friends first. And then go conquer the world together and do these big deals. So
and win together.
So
that's dope. See, that's why I'm here, man. See, listen to that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here. I'm trying to up my game. And that's the thing. All of us, and you would probably say this too. It don't matter at what level you get to. There's always a way to up your game, to learn more. No one's ever gonna know everything. Richest dude in the world, Warren Buffett, one of the best investors in the world. He don't know everything.
That's right.
And he'll say that.
So if somebody is listening right now and in a place where you once were, broken, what kind of an advice would you give them to get them to snap out of it and embrace abundance mindset and go on the journey to success? What would you tell them?
First thing I would say is it's okay with the mistakes you made.
Nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect. So the first thing you have to do is realize no matter where you're at, what decision you made, it's okay. You can have a future. Whether you're 60 or 30, now everyone's future might look a little different based on that decision and where you're at. But that's the first step. Is forgive yourself, look in the mirror and say, okay, like I can move forward on this. The next thing I would say advice is, we already talked about it, but what circle are you around? If your circle's not helping you, get into different circles, right? And then the third piece was educate yourself. Definitely educate yourself and find a path that works for where you're at right now today.
Beautiful. I love that advice. One of the things I want to add to it is everything revolves around your identity. Your identity is where you are today. Your identity is what defines your moves, your beliefs, your habits, your aspirations. If I believe in a certain truth, if I believe I can do something, I'll go do it. If I believe I cannot do something, then the chances of me doing it are basically nil. It makes no sense. And so look at your identity and see how you can shift it. But your identity will be shifted by the tribe. If you find people that are killing it, doing it really well, and you find a way to add value to them, that's the most important thing. Don't be a leech. Don't come there and say, give me. Everybody
Don't
wants
make withdrawals, make deposits.
Find a way to add a value to them. And if you add value to people who are killing it, who are ahead of you in whatever journey you want for yourself, you find that, like I did with my mentor, they will then also elevate you. They'll pull you up to their level slowly over time, over 6 months, 12 months. Corey is one of those guys. I'm one of those guys. There's a lot of guys I know that basically do this for a living and help people to elevate. But at the end of the day, over time, you will start believing that you can also flip a house and make $500,000. You can also buy a commercial property or buy an airplane or whatever. It's just identity is shifting.
I mean, if you just look at the table, just me and you right now, at some point we were that person who was defeated, down and out. And it was like, that person's never going to make it. And yet we're here now running successful businesses. So to the audience, it's like, if that's you, I mean, look at us. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't have trust funds. We didn't have all that, but somehow we made it. We pulled ourselves up. So again, you can do that too.
Anybody
But people
can do
see
it,
where we're at right now on a call, and we're talking all these cool stats and this
Yeah.
lifestyle. And they're like, that's what I want, or that's what I want to be about. Or I'm never going to get there because you had some.
They're special. They're different. They're
Yeah,
smart. They're
yeah,
white. They're
'cause,
brown.
yeah,
They're
the
whatever.
equalizer is everybody in this world, whether you're broke or you're a billionaire.
Living in
time.
the United States of America.
Well,
yeah.
that helps, but the great equalizer is time.
Time, yeah.
We all only
Everybody's
got
in
24 hours in a day, but
Yeah.
somehow you have billionaires, and you got
Yeah.
millionaires, and you got broke people.
Yeah.
So anyways,
So for those of you, you got to meet this guy. You got to call him, reach out to him on Instagram. His Legacy Wealth Group is amazing. And if you want to get into residential flipping or learn the game, you got to definitely hit him up.
Yeah.
How can they find you?
Yeah, the best way is social. That's where we at
Yeah,
right now.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
going to be on social
Yeah.
at the real Corey Wright.
Hit you up, and then boom, you can invite him
Hit
to one of
me
the
up.
events.
And then if you want to get a part of Legacy Wealth Group, it's just joinlegacywealthgroup.com. And you know, the rest is history. But,
Awesome.
yeah,
Beautiful,
that's what it is, man.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for coming. I really appreciate you, Corey. You are a rock star.
Hey, man, this was awesome.
Yeah, it's so
Thank
great
you.
to
Thank
have you over. And I hope that viewers will definitely reach out and improve their lives and build lives of financial freedom
Yeah.
for themselves and their families and people around them.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
thank you very much. And
Thank you. And the last thing I'll say is take action.
yeah,
Take action. Stop sitting around and having all the concepts and analysis, paralysis, and all that. Man, at some point, you just got to get out there and do.
if you like this episode, please like and subscribe. One thing I want to do about this podcast is I want to bring people to you who can add value to you so you can improve your life. Every
Everybody.
single person I'll bring are going to be people of value, immense value. And if you can reach out to them, take them out for a cup of coffee or go to gym with them or wherever, they will find a way to add value to you and improve your life. So thank you very much. And until the next episode.